for you.
He's like, oh, no.
I hope so.
Texas A&M might not
I just
fear so luckily
Yeah.
against Clemson.
All right. Well, let me pray and then we'll get going. Father, I thank you for these men, Lord. I ask that you would strengthen them with divine might in their inner man, Lord, that you would reveal your love and your truth to them, Father, and you would guide them on your paths and build them up into the men that you have them be, Lord. And help me lead this class, help me hear you and follow you in it, Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
All right. So last week we talked about, hold on. Last week we talked about reputation, pretty much. Does anyone have any thoughts about that from last week at all? Anyone seen times that you were thinking about it during the week? So it's interactive.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't here, so
I know.
Reputation?
Reputation.
Oh, reputation.
Yeah, reputation. Okay. So I've got a handout for everybody. We're going to read through it, and then we're not going to read. So we're just going to read the first 2 pages, and then we're going to talk about it some, and then the 3rd page is more of an exercise, and we'll go through that exercise together. Okay. So why don't we take one paragraph each, and we'll start with Charlie and come around this way.
Okay. Mindset. In a world of mental inclination or disposition or frame of mind, your mindset is a collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits. And your thought habits affect how you think. What you feel and what you do, your mindset affects how you make sense of the world and how you make sense of you. Another way of expressing the word mindset is your way of thinking. In a fixed mindset, people believe the basic qualities like their intelligence or talent are simply fixed traits. They spend their time documenting their intelligence and talents instead of developing them. They also believe that talent alone creates success. Without effort, they're wrong. In the growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through decisions and hard work. Brain and talent are just like a starting point. The view creates a love of learning and a reliance that is essential for great accomplishment. Virtually all great people have had these qualities.
Mindset, the new psychology of success, how we can learn to fulfill our potential. Carol S. Dweck, PhD. Being a business owner or employer is a risk. Running a business is like operating a big machine with interlocking parts. You can think of it like the interlocking gears in an older watch. The only way for these gears and the machine to work is if all the parts operate on the right schedule. If the gears don't do their part at the right time, the watch comes to a stop. The same is true about running a business. Typically, the biggest risk a business owner takes is choosing who he will hire to do the job needed.
A business owner or manager's mindset about work relates to the success or failure of the business. Decisions and actions are taken through the prism of this mindset. Those thoughts will include if the business is operating to its chief potential and efficiency, if the workers are achieving their end goals or objectives on schedule, what is the future of the business, what things are holding the business back, and most often, is this business making a profit? And is that profit in line with what was projected? If not, why not? And is that okay?
Understanding the mindset of your employer and bringing your own mindset as a worker in line with your employer will greatly improve your understanding about your work, the value of your work, and future prospects at your work. And Since many of the personal character traits which make a positive work ethic / mindset are important in becoming the man you want to be in 5 years, it should also help in your life. At a minimum, you should be able to understand your own mindset and be able to change it for the better.
Oh yeah. Good job. Your mindset is closely related to your attitudes about life and work. Mindset is driven largely by your internal values, attitudes, and character. Just like how reputation is an extension of your character, or to put it a different way, a reflection of your character, people's mindsets tend to be the expression of their character. Your work ethic and your mindset about work will be closely related. Poor mindsets tend to be focused on the self, and good mindsets tend to be focused outwardly.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry if anybody wanted to read that last paragraph, but I was just struggling on reading.
Good, thank you, Bobby. So, do y'all have any thoughts about the reading after the reading?
The reading after the reading.
Yeah.
Yes. This one stood out to me. I think, well, maybe not necessarily true, I guess given the context of your job, but poor mindsets in regards to work tend to be focused on self.
Mm-hmm.
I
Poor,
think
poor,
depending-
poor mindsets tend to be self-focused
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah,
and
I think
and if
that's-
you're at work, that's just an extension
Yeah,
of that.
that's especially true. Like, yeah, I've seen a lot of that. I think I used to have that at some point. It's like, I don't know, like, because they used to almost be impossible to work with because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, dude, like, just let me do my stuff my way, like, without help or other people giving advice or asking, you know, like, I don't know. That's crazy. Never thought how, like, maybe just your mindset of selfishness can carry over into
Hmm.
work or anything. So,
Yeah, does that mindset determine your future?
no. I mean, well,
It could.
if you don't change it,
You direct.
or if you don't work to, you know, adjust it, yeah, for sure.
If you're not working to try and
Yeah.
and change it, correct it, modify it.
I'd like
Why are you sitting on the computer when he's
I'm right
giving
here.
class? So don't ask me about a jacket, buddy.
What I piggyback on that though,
I'm right here.
to me, my self-esteem is a direct
Is it
correlation
cold?
to my productivity
Yeah.
and everything. So if because when I do what's wrong or when I'm sinning or when I'm, drinking,
Mm-hmm.
my self-esteem goes down incredibly, and then everything else is impacted by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whether it be my work, whether it be my relationships, whether it be how I carry myself, would I even want to read that paragraph? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anyone else?
Yeah, paragraphs. Jared? No? Okay.
All right. Well, let's start up. We're going to go through this a little bit here. Let's talk about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, because this is a pretty simple thing. Because a lot of times people can think about this is sort of like thinking about a pie as a static thing, like it doesn't change. And literally, I mean, if you go to the grocery store and you buy key lime pie or pumpkin pie,
Yes. So good.
you got 8 slices. That's all you got. And everybody can count to 8. So,
1,
2, 3.
8.
So each one of us in here would get, actually, yeah, one slice. Yeah, we'd all get 1 slice. But if there were 7, we would know. So, but in life, things aren't necessarily static. They change. They can grow. And so, what are some examples of in life, in your own experience, when you've had a fixed, when you had a fixed mindset? So this is on the first page where it talks about fixed mindsets. And it's like this is it, and this is all there is.
So like, I think for me, the concept of only wanting to do a job where I can work for myself,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Yeah.
Having that mentality.
Yeah.
Like, what is it like? To simplify that, okay, I can only work by myself and be productive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that would be a
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't stand having other people like, being my boss and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but that's it's something you have to learn to deal with.
Yeah.
I always told myself like, oh, I would like do my own thing, make my own money, be my own boss, and I'm good. Like, it's
Yeah.
the only thing I'll ever be able to do, and like, not get pissed off and stuff. you
Yeah.
know, about my means of living if I was doing that. But
You're a control freak.
yeah, very
Just kidding.
No, I mean I am. Like I see something that's fundamentally wrong in my opinion, and I'll do one of two things. Say something about it, or I'll complain about it and do it myself.
Yeah.
You want it done right?
Yeah. Okay, how about a growth mindset? Moving on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, Charlie?
As you're growing up, and more as I grew up, I have a fixed mindset of the situations that I'm in. The neighborhood I grew up, it was a fixed mindset of how you react and how you represent yourself. There are traits that you gather through trials,
Mm-hmm.
success, things you couldn't do, things you couldn't do. It's all interactive. The fixed mindset, the growth mindset, it's kind of both for me. I mean, there's some things I do a certain way, but if you can be shown a better way,
Yeah.
or an easier way, or a different ability, something that I can adapt to my character. Because my fixed mindset is my character. My growth mindset is where I want to go. I mean, where I'm developing things from other people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
through hard work, through different situations,
Yeah.
different people.
Yeah, so I guess fundamentally it's sort of the question of, can you change your future? Or are you stuck where you are? And you're here now, and so you are changing your future.
You're adapting new things. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're changing your future. And
So,
you're,
but there is still parts of my mindset that's fixed. It will never be changed. I mean, I'll have a different opinion about it, or
Mhm.
I'll have a different outlook about something. But there's some part of my character.
Yeah.
Fixed mindset is part of a character.
you can change your character though.
Yeah.
You can develop, you can see something that you want to aspire to.
Mhm.
Like when we talked about who you want to be in 5 years.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, who do I want to be? What attributes do I want to have in 5 years?
But there's some attributes I have now that I don't want to change. I mean, some
Yeah.
things that are, I'm not necessarily trying to get rid of the good.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah. Understood. All right. Anything else on that? All right. How about going down here on the second page, understanding your own mindset and being able to change it for the better?
All right, one for me is, and that also goes with the fixed and everything as well, but it's like, I'd like to go back to school. I don't want to be a carpenter the rest of my life. It's too
Yeah.
hard on my body, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, it's like, then I student loans, and I haven't been responsible so far, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so there's, understanding the mindset of your employer. Well, there's another thing too, is I want to do the best that I possibly can.
So I just want to clarify something here.
Yeah.
These things relate to work, and this sort of class relates to work and your attitudes about work and work ethic and developing a better work ethic. But most of the principles that make up that work ethic are character traits. And so those character traits are valuable to you as a human and the person you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Okay, so yeah, it does talk about work here, but the question here is understanding your own mindset and being able to change it. So that relates to work, but it also is your own thoughts about the way you think and process things that relate to life. Does that make sense? So anyway, go ahead with what you were saying. You don't have to look at this and say, oh, this only relates to work, because this relates to life also.
How I feel about myself is that when I'm sober, nothing stops me. Nothing
Yeah.
gets in my way.
Yeah.
I can be outdone. I can be outworked. I can be out everything. There's always somebody better.
Sure.
However, I'm one to compete with. And when I'm sober, as I stay sober, I will go back to school. I will achieve these things. If I don't stay sober, forget it.
Yeah.
And that's my mind.
All right. All right. Jeremy? Got any thoughts on this? No?
No.
All righty. Why
Like
don't you,
your mindset is closely related to your attitude. That's very true for me.
yeah. No, it's true for most folks.
I mean, yeah, very true. I mean, I believe a certain way, and my attitude will project that exact way I believe,
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm trying to change that.
Okay. So we're going to go, we're going to flip over to the third page, and we're going to go over this list here, and we're going to start with that a business owner or manager's mindset about their work relates to the success or failure of the business.
Make a profit, number one.
And so we're going to go through this as an exercise and thinking about it, okay, from the employer standpoint about these things, and then also as an employee, a worker. And here it's like the rescue mission isn't making a profit. Like if you're at the warehouse, there's no profit there.
We made $100 in the kitchen the other day.
Huh?
So we made $100 in the kitchen the other day.
That's
I
awesome.
was excited.
Yeah,
Catering,
that's
feeding
awesome.
some old ladies. Lunch, $2.50.
But yeah, I can see
Yeah.
what you mean by
Yeah, but we're gonna look.
non-profit situation.
Yeah, and so like in the normal business world, this is really geared towards these questions relate to work, and then the people managing and running the business or owning the business, and so you have the way that the business owner thinks, and I've been an employee before, and so I know how I thought sometimes. And sometimes that was looking at my watch and being like, man, how long is this day? When is this gonna be over? When are we done today? How long till break? And so we're gonna think through these things from both sides of it, and look at it from your own mindsets and own attitudes about work, from both sides, as an employee and also as an employer. All right, so we'll just go down the list. Okay, so, and we're going to look at it from, and we've been studying these personal character traits over the last couple of weeks: stewardship and trustworthiness, and responsibility, and reliability, and honesty and integrity. And we're going to try and line these up so that when we look at one of these, so like, for example, are we on schedule? That's something that an employer might think. Okay, are we on schedule? As an employee, how do you perceive the schedule, or what do you think about
What time we get off?
what time do we get off? Okay, and so let's line up one of these personal character traits with that. For the business owner, would that be stewardship or responsibility? Does that make sense?
Probably responsible, reliable.
Yeah, I was thinking responsible just because, like, for when you're thinking about if you're on schedule, it's like for them as opposed to your workers. Okay, you obviously have to worry about the next task,
Yeah.
like down the line. You're not just thinking like, okay, well, I know I have the guys for 8 hours today, so you know, you're really thinking about like down to like the minute, like are we on schedule? So I think maybe the responsible aspect there, or
For the business owner standpoint.
yeah,
Okay.
like about
Yeah.
why would they can be concerned about scheduling and stuff like that with
Yeah.
work?
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. How about from the employee standpoint? Is that what is that? Is that responsible stewardship and honesty, integrity? How does that relate?
Integrity? I mean, the question, are we on schedule? It's a little bit of all of them, actually. I mean, you're being responsible with your time.
Yeah.
You're working, you
Yeah.
know, you got a time limit.
Yeah.
Stewardship, you have to steward that time, you know, you have
Yeah.
to
Sometimes you
make
got,
sure that when you take your 20-minute lunch, it's a 20-minute lunch. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
sometimes you got,
Integrity is to make sure that, you know, you're not taking a 25-minute lunch, and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell a
Not
little
cutting
story.
costs, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to tell a little story. So I had a job, and I will talk about like are we on schedule first, because we did a job recently where we were doing the windows, all the windows at an apartment complex. So and there were 20 different buildings, and I had a schedule from the property management company that I had to abide by. Like I had to be done complete by a certain day. And that meant, you know, we had to do a certain number of buildings each day. And we get there, and I'd think, and one day we had to do like 5 buildings. And I thought, okay, we need to get 2 of these done before lunch. And then in the afternoon, we can get, you know, the last 3 done. And so it's like, I knew, okay, we have to, we have to get this because we can't fall behind schedule because there is an end date to this, and there's penalties from the property management company if I don't achieve that. So, you know, it was like, we got to get going. So anyway, there was one time I had a worker, and I've had lots of different guys I've taken on jobs. And so this is not necessarily a unique story, but it does stand out to me a little bit. So, I wouldn't let my workers smoke on the job site, and so there was, you know,
Just cigarettes?
cigarettes. Oh yeah,
Most people want.
you have to go in the car, maybe out, park on the street.
somewhere
go in the
else,
car.
somewhere off job site,
Yeah.
somewhere off job site. And so he wanted to go to the bathroom down the porta potty, and I was like, all right, go ahead. And he came back about 45 minutes later, and from a different direction, like smoking a cigarette. And I was thinking, you know, he went down there, went to the bathroom, smoked a cigarette, walked around the block, smoked a cigarette, and came back. And yeah, and the way I knew about it was because one of my other workers said, hey, I think so-and-so is, you know, like he'd walked off somewhere. And my other worker told me, I think he's over there. And so I went up, you know, I was like, hey man, where you been? You know, what's going on? And the guy went up to the other, and he was like, oh, you know, I just was going to the bathroom. I was like, well, look, we got to get to work. We got to get going. And so then that guy went up to my other worker that had, you know, told me, and was like, hey, what are you doing telling on me? You know, and it's like, okay, so I was thinking, okay, what's the mindset of that first worker that basically took 45 minutes and smoked a couple cigarettes and
Selfish.
Yeah, like he's not gonna
Yeah.
get caught.
and then
I was
being
going
mad
to-
at the other guy
I mean, without
For-
the other guy, he's still gonna get caught,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
45
think
minutes,
that's integrity to me.
yeah.
a 10-minute break.
Yeah, you can go down to the bathroom, 10 minutes, come back. Well, let's go back to work. You're gone 35 extra minutes. And then be mad at somebody,
Right,
That's
You know.
what I
it's
do.
something he did.
yeah, for something he did. So that struck me a little
I
bit.
take a 2-minute break at work, and I'm only supposed to take a 1-minute break.
You're gonna crack that
Everyone
whip.
gets mad at me all the time. I'm like, hey, can I get 5 minutes to smoke? And I'm sitting over here, and it's like 6 minutes. I'm like, oh, take it back.
All right.
Regret that.
So let's go down this list here on the page here, and we're going to talk about, okay, from the employer standpoint, what's the personal character trait, and from the employee standpoint, what's the personal character trait? So the first is, are we going to make a profit? And if you have a business, I will tell you now, because I've been in this situation, that it's like, if we're not making a profit, then I'm doing something else.
Exactly.
And I've had times when I took, workers on jobs and lost money. And it's like, man, I'd rather just be here by myself and, get it all, spend an extra couple of days.
Stewardship?
So from an employer standpoint, that's stewardship.
I agree.
He's having to steward his business. Okay, from an employee standpoint, what's the relation that they have to, what is their relation to that so far as a personal character trait?
Responsible.
Responsible.
Yeah, you have to be responsible. I mean, otherwise,
Yeah.
why would you be in the business, like you said?
Yeah,
Well, if he's not performing, his boss can go out of business now, then he's without a job also.
yep,
I mean, if it's a small business, that's how he should look at it.
yeah,
If it's a
Yeah.
big, huge business, well,
yeah. Most people are employed by small businesses.
yeah, you gotta look at it like, your boss has to make money, otherwise you're not gonna have a job.
That's right. Okay, what's the correlation for the worker with profit? What, do you understand?
Yeah.
So how much are they getting paid?
Obviously, job security.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wage.
their wage, what they're getting paid.
The more they produce, the more they should be able to get paid.
Yeah.
You gotta pay your boss.
That's right. That's right. If the company's doing better, the people should be doing better too. People working there should be doing better. All right, so let's go down to the second one. What's this costing me? How much is this costing me?
Stewardship. Again.
Stewardship. Okay. So from the employee standpoint, the worker standpoint, what do they care about cost?
Well, sometimes how much it costs to get to if they're driving, using their gas, going to different jobs.
Well, I'm thinking more so about the job itself. Let's say that there's material, like you did flooring.
I would say it would almost. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah,
But,
you
well,
got-
So you have, when you did flooring or when
Okay,
you're
glue.
working in the kitchen, there's product.
Yeah, glue
And
and,
that's stewardship as well. Right?
yeah, I'm thinking, like either stewardship or like something's making me think trustworthy, because you're trusted. Okay, obviously your employer is like the steward of like the equipment and stuff like that, and you're literally like entrusted. Like when I was in the military, I was working on like $800,000 computers.
Yeah.
Like that I signed for.
Yeah.
Like under
Yeah.
my name.
Yeah.
But somebody else had signed for them, hand receiving them to me. So it's almost like you're trusted with, the potential of if you do something wrong, you break something, it's
Yeah.
gonna cost you one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
If you break that.
I think like the maybe trustworthiness or.
Yeah. Yeah. What if?
That's a good one.
Yeah. What if you had a worker when you were doing flooring that cut a bunch of stuff that wasn't any good?
yeah, you mean they cut it incorrectly and
Yeah.
now you can't use it. Or
Yeah.
It ruins
Reliability.
a couple
Hey,
boxes. of
Steve,
product.
watch your feet. Watch your feet there,
Your
bud.
feet are wrapped around the cord.
Bobby.
Sounds like what you're saying is maybe reliability. or reliable?
I think reliability is part of it. I mean, if you're at the kitchen and somebody donates a bunch of vegetables, and you guys end up throwing them out,
I usually just take them out back and just hit
Eat 'em.
them with a sledgehammer.
you making
Chop 'em up.
videos of it. All right. So we've already talked about, are we on schedule? So how about, is everyone working together? Is this team working together? And if not, why not and where?
Delegate certain things to certain people that are
Okay.
qualified for those things.
Okay. So why would it matter to the employer if the team's working together?
Because it affects your time.
Fix the product.
Okay. So what's that
Costs
related?
you more money.
Yeah. So-
Labor.
Labor.
costs.
Yeah.
Short-term labor
Trustworthy.
costs if you
Yeah.
dial in the team.
Yeah. So what for the from the employer standpoint, what's that relate to?
Stewardship.
Stewardship. Okay. Excellent. How
Quality.
about from the worker standpoint? Is everyone working together? Why did and why does that matter? And what's the
Blaming.
blaming?
Your fault.
You gotta have harmony, everybody, and you don't want people angry at each other because somebody, you can't get an orderly function going and
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
And when you got harmony like that, you got the music on, everybody's like doing their job, and
Yeah.
Honesty,
then you like whistle while you work almost.
Honesty.
integrity.
Yeah. Honesty, integrity.
Production, you get good production when you got
You being responsible for your part of the job.
I want to say
Yeah.
integrity as well, because the integrity of your work, the quality of your work, like when you are in harmony,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to say to Bobby, or he doesn't have to say to me what the next step is, because we are already thinking. We're thinking alike. You're on the same page.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, which is
Yeah.
part of that harmony. But
Yeah.
I know that you're going to do it right when I walk away.
Yeah.
And you know that I'm going to do it right when you walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's everything.
All right. Excellent. Thank you all. How about this? Is the quality of the work as good as it should be?
I guess that's what I just hit on.
that.
Yeah.
That's usually a result of the harmony.
Okay.
You know, if you got harmony, if you got quality.
That's integrity.
Okay, integrity? Yeah.
Standards for yourself.
Okay. How
So
about
for the
from
employee,
from the
integrity,
employer
from the
first?
employer,
Employer first, and then the employee.
trust, maybe the idea of trustworthiness.
I think trustworthiness. Yeah, sure.
The quality of work is good as it should be. Can I trust?
When the boss walks away, you
Well,
want
and
quality.
maybe honesty too,
Yeah.
because I feel like even though you are, like in charge or whatever, like you have to look at how you're running the business, and the product that your people are putting out is kind of a reflection of how you lead. So maybe honesty
Mm-hmm.
has something to do with it too.
Okay. Good. How about from the employee standpoint?
Integrity.
The question
Yeah,
is
it's integrity.
costing
No one's watching you clean that toilet, but you do a good job,
That's right. That's right. Is there a responsibility in there as well?
It's your responsibility to provide good work, for your bosses, to look at and take a job, or
It has to be worth it, but your boss.
and if
to
that's
keep
your
you on-
responsibility,
To keep you on, it has to be worth, if you being an employee, and any of us, we have to look at it, is it worth it for this guy to keep me on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that, and then from there goes raises.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
goes from that point to getting raises.
Yeah. Okay. Any more on that one? Okay. How about, are my customers satisfied with our product and service?
That's a big.
So from an employer standpoint, what character trait does that relate to?
That's the biggest issue probably. product, otherwise you don't get paid.
Responsibility, yeah, responsibility.
You don't get return business if you don't have
As
a
as an employer, you're responsible to make sure that the job's done right to the customer satisfaction.
Yeah. I tell you right now, if you're not, if your customers aren't satisfied, you're not gonna be doing it very long.
You won't get return, you won't get referrals,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Referrals are a big deal because you don't have to advertise near as much if you're getting referrals, so pretty soon you don't need to even advertise
Yep.
a lot of times.
Yep. Okay, how about from the employee standpoint? Are my customers satisfied with the product and service?
I would think that'd be more of an employer.
But they should still be concerned because they know that they might be getting raises, you know, if things are.
Is that like responsibility?
Reliable?
Yeah, responsible, reliable.
I mean, that's the incentive, I said, but
Yeah.
just plain integrity of saying, well, I like to do things right.
Yeah,
You know, not everybody might have that much of that, but just the incentive for it would be, well, if I do better, I'll get more raises.
yeah. I think of that as like a reliability, because if you don't care if your customers are happy with if you're an employee and you don't care if your customers are happy or not,
You're unreliable.
you're not reliable. You're not. I mean, it is sort of a character issue of honesty and integrity, also, of how you're treating the customers. You could also think of that sort of as a stewardship, because you're stewarding. When you're at work, you're stewarding the trust of your employer.
Even if you're just one person, that you still have some kind of responsibility
Yeah.
to look out for the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, and it comes back to sort of an internal value about the product that you create. Okay, are we as efficient as possible? I'm going to change this.
Yeah.
That one. Are we as efficient as possible? So from an employee standpoint or employer standpoint, what does that relate to?
Stewardship.
Stewardship. All right. Then how about from an employee standpoint?
Responsibility.
Responsibility. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Are there ways to cut costs and time and achieve the same end result?
Now, that's the employer's business.
You don't think
Employer's business.
you don't think an employee should be concerned about that?
Your top-notch employee might have
I'm not
ideas.
trying to cut my time down, I mean, but anyway, but yeah, but that, I don't see other ways to cut costs, I mean,
That's responsible.
I'm sure I could,
Yeah.
suggest to my employer, hey, if we did it this way, we could cut, because of my experience,
Yeah.
or something they didn't know, I
Yeah.
could share with them,
Yeah.
which allow them to either use it or not use it,
Yeah. Would that be sort of taking ownership in that
yeah.
arena?
That makes it to where your management material, too.
Yeah,
Being an
absolutely.
employee, if you've got that ability and your employer values that,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Should
integrity,
reward you.
because
they should reward you for that.
that would be my integrity
Say
to my
stewardship.
boss,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like him, so, I'm gonna
Yeah.
share some good stuff with him,
Yeah. Here's a way that we could get this done faster and easier. I mean, it's easier on you as an employee also, because it's, you're not having to, how long would you do a job that you knew could be done in less time with easier?
The moment he says we'll get paid exactly the same.
They give you bonus, if they say, hey.
Yeah.
Then he says we're gonna get bonus if we get this done faster.
Yeah.
Whoop!
3 units
I'm going to
instead of
incentivize you to get this done faster.
That's being responsible to myself.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to, be responsible to my bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that,
But my integrity would definitely let me, depending on the employer,
Yeah.
those 2
development
units.
of relationship between employer and employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, like that would be being a good steward. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
saying, "Hey, boss, you know,
we could
we
do
did it
this.
this way."
Yeah.
And yeah, I've lost money in those ways. I mean, I totally not incorrect.
But that's definitely thinking more like a manager and not necessarily like an employee. It's being like, okay, here's a way of doing this easier and faster and getting the same result.
But you're talking about, I'm in the mindset like, I didn't get paid for management job, so I'm not giving up no management ideas.
But you can be a management.
I know, but you know,
Okay. So are workers achieving their goals and schedule? That's definitely
Responsible.
yeah, that's responsible for sure.
Okay, how about as an employee? Like this is similar to the question we just talked about. You know, thinking about achieving the goals that you have on that work day in the schedule. It's sort of similar. It's a similar question to what we just asked.
I guess that would be, that answer could be for both employees and employer. I mean, be
Yeah.
responsible to that.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to throw integrity in as an employee as well. Like,
yeah,
am I doing what I should be doing?
Yeah, right.
yeah. Okay.
Meet the schedule.
Excellent, good. All right, is this worker helping me achieve my goals? How are my workers working together to achieve the goals? So, as an employer, what is that?
It's going to be stewardship.
Stewardship, all right. How about as an employee? When you think about, am I helping the business achieve its goals?
It's gotta keep up with its customers. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's getting more customers than it can handle, then, you know, maybe there's something
But that would
That
be
might
an
be-
expectation.
to think about.
I would
Responsible.
expect you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
Uh,
responsible.
You wanna be able to keep up with it.
yeah,
If maybe somebody's lagging, you might have to get in there and work with them and see if you can get an improvement.
yeah. So this exercise, go ahead.
Or hire one more person maybe, whatever.
Yeah. So the exercise is really intended to try and help, you know, turn that thinking from an employee's standpoint to being an employee who thinks more like an owner, and evaluates things more like an owner of that. So you have ownership in the success of this. And it's really, and if your mindset is that, you really are thinking about your own success. Because if you are helping that business be successful, you personally, that's going to stand out, and you personally will be successful in that.
Right.
If everybody's fair, you know, if the employer is not taking advantage of a good thing and without,
Yeah.
you know, giving somebody a boost or a bonus.
Yeah.
Or a raise
Yep. Yep. Yep.
accordingly.
Yep. That's true.
People will just stop and say, I'm not putting out anymore because this guy just isn't gonna pay anymore. Some business.
And that's true, but in thinking that, if you are developing an ownership mindset in yourself, then you can see that and be more successful somewhere else too.
Right, yeah,
Does that make sense?
sure.
Because you're looking at things from, what was this?
It's like you
A
know,
growth mindset. You're developing a growth mindset inside yourself that you can apply in other areas and in your own job.
You're like your own.
Like, you don't have to be-
Self-contained business
Yeah,
as an employee.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
if
like,
you're not working here, maybe you can try somewhere else and
Yeah.
it'll work better for you.
yeah, so like Charlie, when you were talking about, I'll tell them how to cut costs and save time when I get the same amount. Before, you know, when you make that transition in your thought about, okay, I'm going to help this business be successful, I'm going to be successful through this business, and if this guy doesn't recognize
Yeah.
how I'm helping him, I can be successful somewhere else.
Exactly.
and I can grow somewhere else.
Right.
Does that make sense?
My mama didn't raise no food.
Yep. Okay, so next one is, what are the objectives we are trying to achieve today? Now, from, what's that mean? What's that look like from an employer standpoint? Is that stewardship, responsibility, honesty, integrity?
All of it. I'm trying to get the job done.
Yeah.
So I do the best job I can.
Yeah. Reliability? So how about from the employee's standpoint?
That would be the stewardship.
Okay,
This is the object.
yeah, object.
I mean, you might not get the job done today, but like you were saying, you have to get so much done
Yeah, schedule.
each day, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like that
Yeah.
3 buildings you said after lunch, you know?
yeah,
If you can't get it and now you're at 2.5 and it's getting dark and you gotta quit,
yeah,
then you're gonna get that much further behind.
yeah,
By being a responsible employee,
yeah.
doing what I should be doing.
Okay. How about this next question? Are my workers happy with their jobs?
No, they're never gonna be
You
happy.
have to convince them, you have to give them some incentive though.
Yeah, so,
You just
It works
make them
both ways.
okay, that's all.
You can't be a fool, but you gotta,
Honesty
Gotta
and
give them
integrity.
okay, from an employer's standpoint,
yeah.
the question of, are my workers happy with their jobs? What character trait does that relate to?
Integrity.
Responsibility.
integrity and
From an employer.
Integrity from an employer, yeah.
But you're responsible to make sure that they are. Or not to
Okay,
make sure,
responsible.
or at least care about if they are.
Okay,
I think that's being a trustworthy employer too, like.
is that, is that stewardship? Like you're making
Yeah,
sure,
it's
as a
up to you.
steward,
Yes, yes,
you're trying to make sure that they're happy at their work too.
yes.
It goes both ways.
What type of, so Charlie, what type of things make workers happy?
Money. No,
Boom.
Well,
sorry.
Working
in a
conditions.
personal relationship with the boss
Yeah,
and their co-workers.
yeah,
Achievement of the job,
yeah,
self-worthiness that they feel that, this job is personally done by me, I mean,
yeah.
and my whatever, ownership of it,
Rewarding initiative?
I mean, that's too, but
How about
there's,
respect?
I mean, when you look at
Respect.
your check,
Yeah,
there's one feeling, but you look at a job, there's
Yeah.
another feeling.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's pride in saying,
yeah,
I did that.
yeah,
It's pride in taking that check and going to pay your bills.
yeah,
I've developed a different relationship with my employer by making all this happen. Or
Mhm.
allowing me to help him make it happen.
yep. All right,
I think gratefulness and appreciation goes a long ways.
yeah,
Sometimes I don't necessarily need to see it in this paycheck, but if you
Yeah.
just say, good job, thank you, keep
Yeah.
it up,
Yeah.
Part of respect.
That
You
goes.
say that with numbers, but I mean,
yeah,
the numbers say that to me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Good job. Yeah, okay. Come pay my phone bill with that.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
Yeah.
right. Numbers too.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Both ways.
I've done jobs where we just go, man,
That was
I
hard.
don't believe we're gonna do this. And then we're doubting it, and we show up one day and go, all right, it's starting to look right. And then
Yeah.
we're still got a little less doubt, but then close to the end we go, all right, and
Yeah.
then all of us did this.
yeah,
From the guy that did the job, from the guy that picked up the nails, the cleanup dude,
yeah,
yeah. And then when the owner gives you that look going, all right, we all stand there like, I don't care from the lowest guy to the top guy,
yeah,
feels exactly the same.
Yep.
Sometimes they give you a bonus and you don't expect it. You might.
So
Yep.
it's a pride
Or
thing.
they'll buy
Yep.
everybody pizza
yeah,
Let me see.
and even beer.
yeah,
It would be integrity, because, I'm proud of that. That's part of integrity,
yeah,
being proud of something you've done.
Yeah.
And then want to do a good job at it.
yeah, yeah. All right, excellent, excellent. Okay, how about, okay, I think we've covered that. Okay, how about this last question? If it's got to get done, it's up to me.
hate that too.
Responsibility. This is first from the employer's standpoint.
Is the
Oh, yeah.
employer saying this?
Yeah,
Stewardship.
employer first.
Well, actually, I would think responsible.
Yeah, responsibility. Ownership.
Usually
So responsibility equals ownership.
somebody from the middle up usually in the staff.
Yeah.
Usually it's somebody from the middle up, and the people on the bottom, they just are followers usually,
Yeah,
when it comes to manual jobs,
yeah.
because they're still learning.
Okay, how about the from the employee's standpoint?
I'm gonna throw in integrity.
Okay, integrity.
Yeah, integrity.
I'll say,
And
Want to
stewardship.
go home tonight?
I'll say trust. I'll say trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Because I think you could feel like, as an employee, I think you could sometimes feel like, oh, maybe I'm the only one that they could trust to do it right, so I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how I feel sometimes, which pisses me off at a lot. Well, makes me get pissed off at a lot of people, like maybe without being justified. But I think sometimes, you know, it does reflect like I feel like I'm trustworthy, so I'll just do it myself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If team is not working together, and I'm more related to the team than the boss is, I'm gonna take a little charge. I'm gonna look, hey, listen.
Yeah.
We need to do this shit because I don't know, forget what your problem is with him.
Yeah,
We're doing this.
yeah,
Don't have no problem with me,
yeah,
you know? So my integrity is unlike us. He's slacking, makes me look like I'm slacking.
yeah,
And now, we're not gonna have that.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get to the bank before 5.
yeah,
Maybe sometimes the check, well, where's your check? But if you guys don't get done before 6.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then you'll have to.
Why don't you just take
Yep.
that check whip?
You can give it to them in the morning, and it's still like, we're
that's
not
a
going
check
to the
whip.
bank till,
Yeah.
until it's done.
All right, that's all right. Yeah, go
Real
ahead.
fast, John. So
We had that before.
with the throwing the honesty, integrity stuff, like to me, integrity and character wrap all this stuff up inside
Yeah,
of it.
these
So,
are
like,
all aspects of character.
So my own, what goes on inside of me when I'm working or when I'm doing as an employee or an employer, you know, am I a good steward? Can you trust me, you know, with your tools or this or that or with this job? Am I even responsible? Am I going to
Yeah.
show up tomorrow? Am I reliable? Am I an honest person? You know, can you walk away? See, what I do when nobody's looking is what matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all wrapped up in my integrity and my character. So
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with throwing that word in with some of these.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Well, we're done.
Oh, trying to
right.
get my ID, man. That
That's-
crap wrapped up. It's been such a hassle.
Yeah. Let me pray real quick, and then we'll be done. Father, I think. Oh, before we do that. Do you all have any observations or things like that? You'd mentioned some things about these before. All right. Well, I'll let that pass. Father, I thank you for these men, Lord. I ask that you would just continue to grow and develop their hearts and their minds and understanding of who they are in Christ, Lord. And I thank you for this day, Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen.
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 I'll
Thanks, John.